Good morning, students. Today, I would like to revise the different techniques of separation of mixtures. So, let us quickly go through this mind map on separation techniques for mixtures. First of all, what type of mixture it is? If it is a solid mixture, then you can opt for hand picking. Secondly, winnowing. Next is magnetic separation, and the fourth is by sublimation. Now, hand picking, when you go for hand picking, for instance, separating stones from rice, winnowing, separating wheat grains from chaff, magnetic separation is employed only when if one of the components of the mixture is a magnetic substance. For example, a mixture of iron filings and sulfur. Then let us move on to sublimation. Sublimation is employed when one of the component is a subliming substance. For instance, it may be ammonium chloride, it may be iodine, naphthalene, camphor, etc. So, a mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt or a mixture of iodine and sand can be separated by the process of sublimation. Now let us move on to solid liquid mixtures. Solid liquid mixtures are of two types. When the solid is insoluble in the liquid or when the solid is soluble in the liquid. Now depending on the solubility, we choose the appropriate method. For instance, the first one is sedimentation and decantation. Sedimentation and decantation can be employed especially for muddy water. The heavier particles will settle at the bottom. Now, next is loading. Finer particles are made to settle down faster by adding alum or any other chemical substance. You know that the heavier particles will settle at the bottom very soon, but the finer particles, it remains suspended in the liquid medium. So, in order to settle that, you add alum or any other chemical substance, which is called loading. Next is filtration. For example, if you want to filter, you choose appropriate filter paper, place it in a funnel, and then you go for the process of filtration. For example, chalk powder and water or sawdust and water. Now, when the solid is soluble in liquid, then there are a number of ways or techniques of separation: evaporation, crystallization, and distillation. Evaporation: you obtain salt from sea water because sea water contains enough of dissolved salts in it. Mixture of iron filings and ethanol can also be separated by the process of evaporation. Second method is crystallization. By this method, you obtain pure copper sulfate crystals from its saturated solution. The third one is distillation, separation of acetone and water, or in order to obtain distilled water from tap water, you opt for distillation. Liquid mixtures. Now, when liquids are miscible and when the liquids are immiscible. For instance, if the liquids are miscible, then you opt for fractional distillation. Fractional distillation is based on the principle of boiling, difference in the boiling points. In order to obtain petroleum fractions like petrol, diesel, etc., from crude oil, you go for fractional distillation. Separation of methanol and ethanol. Both are liquids, both are miscible in each other, so you opt for fractional distillation. Now, when the liquids are immiscible, then you opt for using a separating funnel to separate the liquids present in the immiscible mixture. For instance, a mixture of kerosene oil and water. Now you know that kerosene oil is not miscible. It does not dissolve in water. Mixture of carbon tetrachloride and water. You go for separating by using a separating funnel. The next method is chromatography. What do you understand by the term chromatography? It is a process used for separating a mixture by passing it in a solvent through a medium in which the constituents move at different speeds. For instance, if you want to separate the colored constituents in a mixture of ink or dyes, so you opt for chromatography. I hope you understood the mind map on separation techniques for mixture. Please revise the lesson before answering the questions that are given to you in the next page. Thank you.